any reminder required?
Yeah, after 15. उसमें कितना टाइम दिया हुआ है? How much time is there?
22 minutes are left.
22 minutes. So after 15 minutes. Shri Kummanam Rajshekharan ji, former governor of Mizoram, Shri O. Rajgopal ji, former minister and member of the assembly, Sampujya Chiranandpuri Swami ji, head Advaita Ashram, Kozhikode, Sampujya Brahma Padanand Swami ji, President Shri Ramdas Mission, Tiruvananthapuram, Shri Vivek Ranjan Agnihotri, very prominent filmmaker, Shri S. Rajshekharan Nair ji, Chairman Ananthapuri Hindu Maha Sammelanam, Shri M. Gopal, President Hindu Dharma Parishad, Shri Yuvraj Gokul, General Convener, Anantapuri Hindu Maha Sammelanam, प्रिय सहोदरी सहोदरन मारे एलावर्को मेंटे वंदनम. I have with me my prepared speech, but if you allow me, I would like to depart from the written text. नहीं ज़रूरत नहीं, अभी नहीं ज़रूरत. And since the subjects which are being discussed here, I find them very close to my heart, therefore, an hour back I decided to ignore the text and articulate my own feelings on the subject. I am so happy that this Sammelan is being held, in which very leading saints are participating. Our tradition says, Santo Bhumi Tapasa Dharyanti. It is because of the word used is tapaso, but they do tapas for acquiring insight into reality. They discover universal principles, laws of nature. And if we live our life in accordance with those laws, which are universally applicable, which are ordained by nature, then surely what just now Swamiji was saying, the gist was that if you want to be successful, then it is absolutely essential to combine wisdom and action. Yogeshwar and Dhanurdhar. So it is through them that we can be inspired to live a life in a manner where we attain success. If there is any problem in, I'm really ashamed of myself that after 2 years, although I have developed, I have developed understanding. I can understand Malayalam, but still I am not in a position to speak. So I really regret it. But Hariji is sitting here. I can call him to the stage to translate me if you feel so. And if you are comfortable, then I will continue because that will take less time. So basically, when we talk about Dharma Parishad, the question comes to mind, what is Dharma? Dharma is the human beings. No human being is an island unto himself. Nobody is in a position to live an isolated life. We need a society. And when the society comes into existence, then there is another human tendency where one wants to dominate over the others. That gives rise to conflicts. How to resolve those conflicts? How to make it possible for persons who have, not only persons who speak different languages or subscribe to different faith traditions, but even people in one family, children of the same family, they do not have similar attitudes. If the unity of the family is to be maintained, then there is always a code of conduct. That code of conduct which can handle larger societies, which can find solution to the conflicts. That I feel is what Dharma basically means, where people of different backgrounds, and this is not nobody should be mistaken that this is a new phenomenon. No, in India, right from the Vedic ages, the very famous quote, Ekam sad vipra bahuda vadanti. We have always believed that diversity, reality is one. Eko deva sarv bhuteshu gudha. सर्वव्यापी सर्वभूतांतर आत्मा, कर्म प्रधान सर्वभूताधिवासी, साक्षी चेता केवलो निर्गुणोच्चा. We have always believed in that one, but we have always acknowledged freedom of each individual to experience that reality in accordance with her own genius and express the devotion to that reality in a manner which is suitable to her own genius. This is what Indian ethos stands for. Akashat patitam toyam yatha gacchati sagaram sarva deva namaskara keshavam pirti gacchati. Whatever name you want to give, whatever mode of approach you want to have, in whichever way you express, you articulate your devotions. So our Rishi says that like every drop which comes from the sky in the form of rain ultimately merges into the sea, so every devotion expressed to any god ultimately reaches Keshavam. This is what Indian, and no dispute on mode of expression, mode of approach. And it has been said, the purpose of the dharma, one is what I told you earlier, from the word comes from dhirti, dharana, which holds society together, which is able to resolve the conflicts, which is able to create harmony, which is able to create sense of belonging, sense of fraternity, sense of dignity as human being. And then elsewhere it has been said, abhyudya nishreyasa siddhi sadharma. What helps us in living a happy life, a life which is healthy and prosperous in this world, and what helps us to attain liberation from human condition, that is moksha, that is dharma. Something which helps us in this world and something which is also helpful beyond life. This question of beyond has the human civilizations show that man has been fascinated with this question of beyond. Who am I? Where I have come from and where I will go? This has engaged human attention, and particularly I am saying because this is a special forte of India, where so many of our rishis and munis, they devoted their lives to find answer to this question. And when they realize the truth, they experience it, then our tradition tells us, and I want to mention about it especially because this is an area where we have faltered, we have blundered, we have not been true to our heritage, and which possibly has been the cause why for a long period of time history has not been very fair to us. The Indian tradition tells us there is a dialogue in Upanishad which says, before that, what is the goal of human life? Swami Vivekananda says that the aim of human life is to keep striving for the acquisition of knowledge. All life, that is something where nothing is in excess. Tapa swadhyay nirattam, ever devoted to the pursuit of knowledge. And when you gain some insight into the reality, then what happens? Then an Upanishadic dialogue tells us, question was asked, what is tapa? Many answers were given. Discipline, austerity, self-imposed, something which is not imposed by any outsider, but self-discipline, which you enjoy. But the answer which got real recognition and was applauded was tapa is swa adhyay plus pirvachan. Acquisition of knowledge and then broadcast or publish or share this knowledge with others. Somewhere, I don't think that the efforts striving to acquire knowledge ever ceased in India. But for a period of time, we were not making that knowledge public. In fact, access to knowledge was denied. And that is why Indian society got vacant. It became vulnerable. 50? Okay. So we have to, but fortunately, more than 150 years back, our thought leaders again woke up to the reality. And I would like here to quote, because now it is not on us to liberate ourselves from that thing. We have already been liberated. In fact, now, I think O. Rajagopalji was member of that cabinet which took the decision to make education universal and compulsory up to the age of 14 years. But in order to make it, whatever decision has been taken, so far we still need to do so many things. And we must always keep in our mind what Swami Vivekananda had said. He said, as long as millions live in ignorance and poverty, I shall hold everyone a traitor. Very strong word. A traitor who, having been educated at their expense, pays no heed to them. We must always remember the Indian tradition of dharma. It does not admit, mostly in religious congregations, we talk about good and evil. But Indian tradition has given us the concept of good is there. But it has not used the word evil for the opposite of the good. It has used the word viparit bhakti. For instance, the famous characters in the history, Hiranyakashyap and his brother, Ravan and Kumbhakaran, Kans and what is the name? Bhagwan Krishna's cousin who abused him 100 times? Shishupal. You know what our tradition tells us? They are actually incarnation of Jay and Vijay, the gatekeepers of Lord Vishnu, who were cursed by some rishis because as gatekeepers they were under instruction that Lord is sleeping, nobody should be allowed in. They did not. And when they were cursed that you will go away from here, take human birth, then they wailed and they complained to the Lord that we have committed no wrong. But you will have to go through this curse. But then help us. Help I will give you in the sense that I myself will take birth and will liberate you from the condition in which you will be born. What is the lesson there? The lesson is that, look, world over, look at the civilizations. Civilizations were defined by similarity of race, similarity of language spoken, similarity of faith. Indian civilization is the only civilization which was not defined either by race or by language or by even religious faith. Bharteshu Istriya Purusho Nana Varna Pirkirtite Nana Devarchane Yukta Nana Karmani Kurvate. Our civilization was defined by Atma. Language is exclusionary, race is exclusionary, religious faith is exclusionary. You create others. And when you define a culture on the basis of Atma, Atma is all inclusive. It does not exclude even plants and animals. If they are in pain, you must, if we are true to our Indian heritage, then we must feel pain not only of the suffering human beings, but also the pain of the animals and the plants. We must also do a famous Kapil Muni Devahuti Samvad. Atmam sarveshu bhuteshu bhutatmanam kirtalayam archaye dan manabhyam maitri abhinain chakshusha. I dwell in every being. Therefore consider every being as my temple. De hi devale hai. And if you want to worship me, then respect every being. If you want to worship me, then help everyone who is in need and develop an attitude of non-separateness. Abhin chakshusha. This is what our heritage is. We have a duty, unfortunately last few hundred years, history, the impression is there as if our history is of fighting in the name of religion, fighting in the name of caste, fighting in the name of language. No, that is not our heritage. We respect and accept diversity, all kind of diversity. We have always believed that one single interpretation of reality, all people must not be confined to one single interpretation of reality. Everybody is free spirit is a concept which India has given. And always remember, one of my favorite shlokas, when Bhagwan Krishna tried to put some wisdom into the head of senior Kaurav prince Duryodhan, then Duryodhan told him, Janami dharmam nachame pirvirti. Janami adharmam nachame nivirti. Kenapi deven hirdi istathen. Yatho niyuktosmi tatho karomi. There is some power sitting inside my heart. I know what is right. I know what is wrong. But there is somebody directing me, dwelling inside my heart who is directing me. So everybody knows it. Only thing is, what is that? He is saying, Kenapi Devin. Dev is not sitting there. It is our unwholesome desires which are sitting there. There is a beautiful, I do not know how many of them you will understand because it is in Hindi, but beautifully it has been put by a Hindi poet. He says, Ram, Maryada Purushottam, Ek Vachni, Ek Bani, Ek Patni. He was the respecter of rules, norms, everything. And he stood by his word, by his weapon, and had one wife. He stood by her. Krishna, Leela Purushottam. Makhan Chitchor used to steal hearts. First Makhan Chor. used to steal butter. Chitchor used to steal hearts. And Ranchor, the 17th attack on Mathura, he fled to Dwarka. So how both are avatars of Bhagwan Vishnu. How do you reconcile the two? What is common there between two? One was a stickler for rules. The other bent the rules. Did not break it, but bent the rules. How do you reconcile? Both of them, whatever they did not do it for selfish reasons. They do it for the public good. That is the factor. What is primary thing is that I should not be motivated by my selfish interest. But as Mahatma Gandhi has said, and here I should mention, Swamiji, the tribute which was paid by famous newspaper of London, Guardian, after the death of Mahatma Gandhi. Guardian in its editorial wrote, only a country like India and only a religious tradition like Hinduism could have produced a man like Gandhi. And Gandhiji said, he says the same thing. He said, whatever you are doing, the only yardstick is, and you should apply it anywhere or when you are taking the decision which affects others, whether your action, your decision is going to benefit the weakest, the last person. If it is beneficial to him, then it is okay. And if it does not serve the interest of those who are at the lowest step of the ladder, then there is something wrong with your action and with your decision. I hope this great heritage of ours, I think I should add this one more point and then I will take your leave. Among the ancient civilizations, India is the only continuing civilization. Maybe the Egyptian civilization was older than us. Even Greek may claim that their civilization was older. But today's Greek, almost today's Egypt, they occupy the same geographical area, but they have no connection with the ancient Egypt or ancient Greece. The ancient civilization and ancient of Greece and Egypt, they are not even aware of it. That language is being deciphered, has been deciphered now. So there was total disconnect between the old Egypt and Greece and the contemporary Greece. On the other hand, India almost occupies the same area, but it is connected with the past. We still believe, adore, greatly value the value system which was discovered by ancient India. When we listen, when we read our classics, our great writers, then we listen to the same heartbeats, same universal ideals, same message. And if there is continuity, then we have a duty. We have every right to feel proud of our ancient heritage. But we must also be concerned and careful that we preserve that heritage. Because that heritage has a universal outlook. India has never viewed a person in terms of the alienable and variable characteristics like caste, creed, community, the factors associated with birth. Instead, India has always viewed a person in terms of the invariable and inalienable characteristic that is Atma. Swami Vivekananda says, my mission can be put into simple words. I want to teach unto mankind their divinity and its manifestation in all movements of life. I hope this Sammelan will create greater awareness about our cultural heritage, and we shall do everything to preserve that cultural heritage and to promote it. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you. National Anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय